In the world of television spin-offs, tradition is both a compass and a constraint. Fans expect callbacks, Easter eggs, and the occasional wink toward the parent show. But there's a fine line between clever homage and gimmickry. Young Sheldon knew this line well, and occasionally crossed it in baffling, though entertaining, fashion. Case in point. Its most surreal recurring gimmick, the disembodied cameos of the Big Bang Theory cast, especially Jim Parsons' omniscient voiceover as the adult Sheldon Cooper. And then there was that episode. You know the one. The episode where Sheldon, while narrating a childhood moment, suddenly imagines his future self sitting across from him in the living room, sipping tea with a twinkle in his eye. No DeLorean, no wormhole, just pure, unapologetic meta-theater. If you blinked, you might have missed the odd metaphysical jolt, Sheldon Cooper meeting his future self inside his own narration. Cue the Twilight Zone music. Sure, this fourth wall-breaking indulgence made sense in Young Sheldon, a show already deeply entangled with the Big Bang Theory's legacy. After all, Young Sheldon was never shy about using Jim Parsons as a narrative bridge. His voice served as the connective tissue between past and future, guiding the tone with nerdy warmth and the occasional droll aside. But let's be clear, that kind of surreal cameo gimmick, where memory, imagination, and meta-awareness collide, is not going to work in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. Working title: the upcoming spin-off set to chart the chaotic, heartfelt adventures of Sheldon's older brother and his Spitfire partner as they raise their daughter. Why? Well, because Georgie and Mandy isn't about legacy, it's about life in the moment. The problem with ghosts of sitcoms past in Young Sheldon: the adult Sheldon is a ghost hovering over every scene. He's not just a narrator, he's a character outside of time. This worked, in part, because the show centered on a brain that always lived 10 years ahead. Sheldon was born out of sync with the world, so the interjection of his future self didn't feel entirely out of place. But Georgie's a Texas mechanic trying to keep diapers stocked and a roof overhead. He's not pondering quantum paradoxes or future selves. He's figuring out how to juggle fatherhood, marriage, and probably overdue utility bills. Imagine him suddenly getting a visit from his older self, maybe a grizzled George Sr. meets jeans-wearing philosopher hybrid saying something like, "You're gonna mess up, son, but it's okay, you've got heart." No, it doesn't fit. Georgie's arc isn't about destiny, it's about resilience. The Young Sheldon gimmick of cameos from beyond the timeline would snap the fragile, grounded reality of Georgie and Mandy's world like a brittle wrench. What makes Georgie and Mandy different spin-offs thrive when they carve new territory? Think Frasier stepping out from under Cheers, or Better Call Saul transforming Breaking Bad's chaos into courtroom tension and moral ambiguity. For Georgie and Mandy, success depends on rooting their story in gritty, hilarious, sometimes unglamorous adulting. This show needs to feel lived in, like a roadside diner at 2 a.m., where your baby won't sleep and the only person who gets you is your equally exhausted partner. There's no room for ghost narrators or space-time cameos here. Instead, the charm will come from their chemistry. Montana Jordan has already proven Georgie's potential as a breakout star, dim-witted at times, but lovably earnest. Emily Osment's Mandy is sharp, fiercely independent, and refreshingly sarcastic. Their dynamic is messy, passionate, and very real. Injecting that with spectral visits from Sheldon or any other Big Bang characters would throw cold water on the authenticity. It's not that fans wouldn't enjoy a nostalgic nod, it's that the kind of gimmick Young Sheldon employed would feel tone-deaf here. The risk of the franchise weight. Let's face it, the Big Bang Theory has a gravitational pull. Any show orbiting its legacy risks being sucked back into its black hole of catchphrases and Comic-Con jokes. Young Sheldon walked that line by embracing its DNA, even building toward an emotional climax with the death of George Sr., a moment long foretold in Big Bang canon. But now it's time to break orbit. Georgie and Mandy has a shot at defining its own identity, one rooted not in physics jokes or awkward genius tropes, but in economic struggle, generational trauma, unexpected love, and parenting in the post-millennial South. Trying to superimpose Sheldon's brainy echo or a Leonard cameo, especially in a dream or fourth wall break, would feel like forcing a time traveler into a rom-com. The audience doesn't need Sheldon peering through the narrative keyhole anymore. The story belongs to Georgie and Mandy. What could work instead? That said, there are creative ways to tip the hat to the franchise without derailing tone. A well-timed phone call from Mima, now slightly mellower and possibly a babysitting MVP, perfect. A silent cameo from Mary Cooper at a family barbecue, giving Mandy some passive-aggressive parenting advice, absolutely. But no holograms. No narrators. No time travelers from Pasadena. This isn't Sheldon's memory anymore, it's Georgie's life. And let's be real. Georgie Cooper doesn't need a narrator. He barely needs a plan. What he needs is duct tape, coffee, and a chance to prove he's more than the screw-up older brother. A new chapter, not a rerun. Television audiences are smarter than ever. They don't just want a repeat of what worked. They want evolution. That means recognizing that a gimmick, even one as charming and quirky as young Sheldon's meta cameos, can quickly overstay its welcome in the wrong setting. So let Georgie and Mandy stumble and shine in their own rhythm. Let the dialogue be sharp, the humor earthy, and the drama earned. Let the cameos be subtle, if they come at all. Because in the end, we don't need Jim Parsons in voiceover reminding us that time passes. We just need to see Georgie holding his baby at 3 a.m., whispering, "You're gonna mess up, but it's okay. You've got heart." That's the kind of line that sticks, not because it came from a future genius, but because it came from a present father. Would you like a version tailored more for a blog post, a YouTube video script, or an editorial pitch?